Hello, here's version 13 of my space game. So for this version, I wanted to have rotation and translation sorted out for AI-controlled ships. So previously I had the enemies just sort of aim instantly, they would just snap onto the target. I was going to replace that with like just a gradual aim, but didn't really look very good, and it turned out to be pretty easy to rip out some code from an old project and implement proper physically based turning with PID loops, well, PD loops. So that's what this looks like. So you see it moves quite naturally. So they accelerate and decelerate to aim at the targets. And there's a bit of tweaking of numbers in there to tune those loops so it doesn't like overshoot and oscillate back and forth. PID loops are very cool. But you end up with natural looking movement that works pretty well. So that's the rotation side of things. So in this case, this turret looked at all the targets around it, found those two, and started shooting at them. Let me just delete that turret from the world real quick, and then fire it back up again. We can have a look to see what the other one is doing. So a little twinkle off in the distance here. So this is the other one. So it's too far away to shoot directly. So it can move. And so it implements a constant offset intercept algorithm that looks at the enemy and looks at where it's moving and its relative position and relative velocities and tries to fly to where it thinks the enemy will be with like I think it was a 10% offset, a 10-degree offset, and it works pretty well. So this will fly around, fly straight towards the target. When it gets within weapons range, it'll look at the target, start shooting at it, and yeah, does pretty well destroying stuff. If it doesn't destroy stuff before it gets there, it'll just plow straight into it. Because it gets as close as it can. It's basically a missile. It's using very, very similar logic to how a missile works. And also, it doesn't really optimize for avoiding overshoots. So there you noticed it went vastly off in that direction and then accelerated back and then overshot and zoomed away. Like it's got no way of like knowing, okay, I'm coming into a high density group of enemies, I should slow down and so I can take them on. I might set some artificial caps, like just say the AI won't accelerate if it's already going at a certain speed. But I don't know. There's plenty of knobs to tweak to get it feeling nice. So that's that. It works pretty well. Happy with that. So next up, I want to look at mission deployment. So I talked earlier about when you pick a mission from the list and you choose which ships you want to bring on that mission on that table. I think it would probably be better to use the warp-in interface. So you choose the mission you want, and you can fly around the mission and inspect it and look at the topology and what enemy ships are there and what objectives are there and so on. And then you choose what you want to warp in, and you populate the map with your warp-ins, and then you commit, and then you get your initial fleet that pops in ready to start your mission. I think that would work pretty well because it gives you good responsive ability to look at what is actually there versus trying to translate the text and the statistics and the numbers of the mission description into what fleet you might want to bring in. So that would let you tune things a bit better, like be more selective about what you want to bring on the mission. And it also means I don't have to build another interface. I've already got the warp-in interface. I just need to make it draw from a fleet list and deplete the numbers and so on and so forth. So I'm thinking of making the first, like if you warp in ships before the mission starts, that's free. But for every turn after the first, it gets progressively more expensive in some regard to warp in additional stuff. I'll also want to make 3 missions. So I've got one or two. this doesn't really count as a mission. But I've got a couple ideas for some missions I want to make. I've got one already, so I want to have a total of 4 missions for the next version to look at what types of objectives would be cool and what code I need to implement to make those objectives possible. Interestingly, this turret, this isn't trying to hunt. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, it's pretty good, pretty dangerous. Okay, that's it. Bye bye.